Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, glanced at the clock, and sighed as it read 3:27 a.m.? You lie there, hoping to drift back to sleep, but instead your mind starts racing. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. And if you're an older woman, waking up between 3 and 5 a.m. isn't just a random inconvenience. It's your body trying to tell you something. It could be a sign of something deeper, connected to your health, emotions, or even your overall well-being. But here's the good news. You don't have to just lie there, frustrated and exhausted. There are 5 powerful things you can do when this happens, not only to help you fall back asleep, but also to turn these quiet hours into an opportunity for calm, healing, and even self-discovery. And trust me, number 4 is the one most people overlook, yet it could be the key to finally getting the restful sleep you've been missing. Stay with me until the end, because by the time we're done, you'll have the tools to handle these wake-ups with ease, and maybe even use them to improve your nights and your days. Let's get started. 1. Don't force sleep. Do this instead. Your eyes snap open and the first thing you see is the clock glowing in the dark. 3:17 a.m. You groan internally. Not again. The mental math begins. If I fall asleep right now, I'll get 3 more hours. No, 2.5. Wait, only 1.5. Oh no, now it's even less. The more you think about it, the more awake you feel. Your heart beats a little faster, your body tenses. And before you know it, you're in a full-blown battle with sleep. One you're almost guaranteed to lose. But here's what most people don't realize. Forcing yourself to sleep is like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away. The moment frustration kicks in, your brain sends stress signals to your body, releasing cortisol, the hormone that tells you to wake up and stay alert. The harder you try to shut your eyes and will yourself back to sleep, the more awake you become. It's a vicious cycle. So instead of lying there, staring at the ceiling in frustration, do this. First, sit up slowly. You don't have to get out of bed just yet, but changing your posture sends a subtle message to your brain. I am in control here. It breaks the cycle of tossing and turning and stops your mind from spiraling into anxiety. Next, breathe with intention. Inhale deeply through your nose for a slow count of 4. Hold for 2 seconds, then exhale gently through your mouth for 6. Feel your shoulders drop as you exhale. Feel the tension leave your body. This simple breathing pattern isn't just relaxing. It actively lowers your heart rate and signals your nervous system that it's time to shift out of stress mode and back into rest. Now, take a moment to check your environment. Something as simple as a slightly uncomfortable pillow, a twisted bedsheet, or a room that's a little too warm or too cold could be the reason you woke up in the first place. Fix it now. Fluff your pillow, adjust your blanket, untangle your legs from the sheets. If the air feels too dry or stuffy, crack a window slightly or turn on a fan. Science has shown that the ideal sleep temperature is between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Anything outside of that can disrupt your body's ability to stay asleep. And here's the most important part. Change your mindset about waking up. Instead of seeing it as a failure, think of it as a natural part of your sleep cycle. Waking up during the night is completely normal. Our ancestors did it all the time, using those quiet hours for reflection, problem solving, or even spiritual practices. Tell yourself, I am awake right now, and that's okay. My body knows how to sleep. It will come when it's ready. When you stop fighting wakefulness, you take away its power. And when your body senses that you're no longer stressed about being awake, it naturally starts to relax, making it much easier to drift back into sleep. But what if you're still awake after 15 or 20 minutes? That's when it's time for the next step. One that can make all the difference between spending the rest of the night staring at the ceiling and actually getting back to deep, restorative sleep. Let's talk about it next. 2. Hydrate, but do it smartly. You wake up, check the clock, and something feels off. Your mouth is dry, your legs are restless, or maybe your body feels strangely overheated. Even though the room is cool, it's frustrating, and you don't know why it keeps happening. Here's a surprising fact. You might just be dehydrated. During the night, your body quietly loses water through breathing and sweating, even if you don't feel like you're sweating at all. And when your fluid levels drop too low, your body sends out a signal, one that can wake you up without you realizing what's really going on. But before you stumble into the kitchen and start gulping down a huge glass of water, there's a right way and a wrong way to hydrate at night. First, avoid ice-cold water. I know it sounds refreshing, especially if you feel overheated, but drinking something too cold shocks your system. It forces your body to warm the liquid up to your core temperature, which can actually wake you up more instead of helping you relax. Instead, sip room temperature or slightly warm water. This allows your body to absorb the hydration without triggering an alert response. Next, let's take it a step further. Plain water is good, but it's not always enough. Your body doesn't just lose water while you sleep. It also loses key minerals like sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Ever wake up with a slight headache? Or that odd feeling of being both tired and wired at the same time? That could be a sign that your electrolytes are out of balance. Here's how to fix it. Add a tiny pinch of sea salt to your water. Just a few grains of high-quality salt, like Himalayan or Celtic sea salt, can help replenish lost minerals and keep your body balanced. It won't make your water taste salty, but it will give your cells exactly what they need to function properly. If you don't like the idea of salt, try a splash of lemon juice. Not only does it add a little flavor, but lemon contains potassium, which helps regulate hydration and muscle function. Feeling anxious along with dehydration? Keep a small thermos of chamomile tea by your bedside. Chamomile contains a natural compound called apigenin, which binds to receptors in your brain to reduce stress and promote relaxation. Plus, it hydrates you without making you feel too alert. Now, you might be wondering, but won't drinking water at night just make me wake up to use the bathroom? The key is to sip, not chug. You're not trying to flood your system, just give your body enough to reset and relax. Why does this matter so much? Because dehydration doesn't just make you thirsty. It messes with your sleep cycle. When your body is low on fluids, your heart has to work harder, your temperature regulation goes haywire, and your muscles get tense. All subtle triggers that can pull you out of deep sleep without you realizing why. Think of it like a car engine running low on oil. You don't need to fill the whole tank, just a little top-up can make everything run smoothly again. So next time you wake up feeling dry, restless, or strangely off, skip the big glass of cold water and instead sip something warm, add a tiny mineral boost, or go for a soothing tea. This simple shift could be the difference between a restless night and slipping back into deep, restorative sleep. And speaking of things that secretly disrupt your sleep, what if the real reason you're waking up isn't physical at all, but emotional? Let's talk about that next. 3. Check your emotions. It might be a signal. You wake up at 4:15 in the morning and something feels off. Not just physically, but emotionally. There's a weight in your chest, a restlessness in your mind, and even though you don't know exactly why, you can feel it. Something is keeping you awake. Maybe your thoughts are already racing, replaying a conversation from yesterday, or worrying about something on the horizon. Maybe it's just a vague sense of unease, like your heart is holding on to something it hasn't had time to process. What if I told you this wake-up call isn't random? According to traditional Chinese medicine, the hours between 3 and 5 in the morning are linked to the lungs. And in emotional terms, the lungs are associated with sadness, grief, and unresolved emotions. Now, Whether or not you believe in energy cycles, modern science supports a similar idea. Stress, worry, and emotional tension are major sleep disruptors, often peaking in the early morning hours when your brain is working through the unresolved thoughts of the day. Think about it. How often do your problems feel bigger at night? That's because when the distractions of the day fade away, your subconscious finally has space to bring up the things you haven't fully processed yet. So if you wake up with that heavy feeling, don't ignore it. Instead, take a moment to check in with yourself. First, sit up slightly and ask yourself, what's on my mind? You don't have to come up with a deep answer. Just let the first thoughts rise to the surface. Maybe it's something specific, like an unfinished task or a difficult conversation. Or maybe it's something more subtle, like a feeling of loneliness or uncertainty about the future. Now, instead of letting these thoughts swirl around in your head, write them down. Keep a small notebook by your bed and jot down 3 things that are bothering you, even if they seem small or messy. It could be something as simple as, I feel overwhelmed about my to-do list. I wish I had handled that conversation differently. I miss how things used to be. This isn't about solving anything in the middle of the night. It's about getting it out of your head and onto paper. Studies show that journaling for just a few minutes can lower stress levels, calm the mind, and even improve sleep quality over time. If writing isn't your thing, try this instead. Breathe with intention. Inhale slowly for 4 seconds, hold for 2, and exhale for 6. As you exhale, say to yourself, I release this for now. Imagine the tension leaving your body like steam rising off a cup of tea. Physically shake off the stress. Roll your shoulders, stretch your arms, or even do a gentle forward bend in bed. Movement helps break the cycle of overthinking and tells your nervous system it's okay to relax. Remind yourself, this can wait. Whatever is bothering you, it will still be there in the morning, but for now your only job is to rest. When you acknowledge your emotions instead of fighting them, they lose their grip on you. And often, simply giving your feelings a moment of recognition is enough to help your body let go and return to sleep. So next time you wake up with a restless heart, don't see it as a problem. See it as a message. Acknowledge it, release it, and allow yourself to drift back into rest. But what if your body is also restless, tossing, turning, unable to get comfortable no matter what? That's a sign it's time to reset physically. Let's talk about that next. 4. Move gently. Reset your body. You wake up at 4:23 in the morning. The clock stares back at you like it knows your frustration. You shift to your side, then your back, then your other side. The sheets are a tangled mess. Your legs feel restless, and the more you try to lie still, the more uncomfortable you feel. Here's what most people don't realize. Staying motionless when your body is restless only makes it worse. After about 15 minutes of tossing and turning, your nervous system goes into high alert, making it even harder to settle back into sleep. That's why one of the best things you can do when this happens is to reset your body with gentle movement. Now, don't worry, I'm not talking about a full-blown workout. Just 60 seconds of light stretching can signal to your body that it's okay to relax again. Here's how. First, start with your neck. Chances are it's stiff from hours of lying in one position. Drop your chin toward your chest, take a slow breath, then gently roll your head to one side, then the other. Feel the tension melt as you breathe into the stretch. Next, release your shoulders. Raise them up toward your ears as you take a deep breath in, then drop them down with a long, slow exhale. Do this 3 or 4 times. If you're carrying stress from the day, this movement helps release it. Now, wake up your spine. If you're lying down, try a gentle twist. Bring one knee over to the opposite side of your body and let your spine follow. Hold for a few breaths, then switch sides. If you're sitting up,
Simply reach your arms forward and let your back round slightly, giving your spine a long, deep stretch. Finally, shake out your legs. If your legs feel jumpy or restless, lift one at a time and give it a light shake like you're shaking water off your foot after a swim. This releases built up tension in your muscles, especially if you're prone to restless legs at night. Here's a little trick most people don't know. If your hands or feet are cold, warming them up can actually help you fall asleep faster. Studies show that warm extremities signal to your brain that it's time to sleep. So if your feet are chilly, try rubbing your hands together to create a little heat, then cup them over your toes for a few seconds. You'd be surprised how quickly this small action can trigger relaxation. The key to all of this is gentle, mindful movement. You're not trying to wake yourself up. You're just giving your body the reset it needs to settle back into rest. So next time you find yourself flipping from side to side, instead of fighting it, pause and reset. A few simple stretches, a little warmth, and some deep breaths could be all it takes to ease your body back into sleep. But what if your problem isn't your body? What if it's your mind? What if your brain is racing, replaying old conversations, running through tomorrow's to-do list and refusing to slow down? That's when sound becomes your secret weapon. Let's talk about that next. 5. Calm your brain with sound. It's 3:58 in the morning, and your brain has decided it's time to run a marathon of thoughts. Did I send that email? What's on my schedule tomorrow? Why did I say that awkward thing 5 years ago? The harder you try to quiet your mind, the more chaotic it becomes. Your thoughts bounce from one worry to another, refusing to slow down. Here's the truth. Trying to force your brain to stop thinking is like trying to stop a river with your bare hands. It just finds another way to flow. But instead of fighting it, you can redirect it. Sound is one of the most effective ways to do this because it gives your mind something gentle to focus on, guiding it away from overthinking and back toward rest. One of the best options is pink noise, a deeper, softer version of white noise. Think of the sound of steady rain, waves rolling onto shore, or leaves rustling in the wind. Unlike white noise, which can feel harsh, pink noise smooths out the high-pitched frequencies, creating a calming effect on the brain. Studies show that pink noise doesn't just help you fall asleep faster, it also improves the quality of deep sleep, making you feel more refreshed in the morning. Simply play it on a speaker at a low volume, just enough to create a soothing background that your mind can sync with. If you prefer something more structured, a guided sleep meditation can work wonders. Picture a calm, steady voice walking you through relaxation. Feel your toes relax, now your ankles, now your legs. This technique, called progressive muscle relaxation, shifts your focus from anxious thoughts to the sensations in your body. It works because it gives your mind a simple task that's relaxing rather than stressful. Just 5 to 10 minutes of a guided meditation can be enough to lull you back into sleep. Another powerful trick is listening to a monotone audiobook. Choose something with a slow, steady voice and non-stimulating content. A book about gardening, an old history lecture, or even a guide to bird watching. Anything neutral and calming. The key is to pick something interesting enough to keep your mind from wandering, but not exciting enough to keep you awake. Your brain will start following the story, but since there's no drama or suspense, it will gradually lose interest and drift off. Just be sure to set a sleep timer so the audiobook doesn't play all night. The reason these methods work is simple. Your brain thrives on patterns. When it's racing with anxious thoughts, it's stuck in a fast, erratic rhythm. By introducing a steady, repetitive sound, whether it's pink noise, a meditation, or an audiobook, you help guide it into a slower, calmer rhythm. And when your brain slows down, sleep naturally follows. So next time you find yourself trapped in a cycle of overthinking at 4 in the morning, don't fight it.
Redirect it. Let sound do the work for you. A soft rain track, a soothing voice, or a dull audiobook might be all it takes to quiet your mind and slip back into deep, restful sleep.
The woman who stopped fighting sleep and changed her life. A few years ago, I met a woman named Margaret. She was 71 years old, sharp as ever, and had lived a full, beautiful life, raising 3 children, working as a school teacher for 40 years, and even running marathons well into her 50s. But for the past decade, she had struggled with something that made her feel helpless. She kept waking up in the middle of the night and couldn't go back to sleep. It started in her early 60s. At first, she thought it was normal, just part of getting older, but as time went on, the wake-ups became more frequent. She would find herself staring at the ceiling at 3:30 in the morning, feeling frustrated and exhausted, knowing she had hours before the sun would rise. "I used to panic," she told me. "The second I woke up, I'd check the clock, and my heart would start racing. I'd think, not again. If I don't fall back asleep soon, I'll be exhausted tomorrow." But the more I stressed about it, the more awake I became. Margaret tried everything: sleeping pills, herbal teas, even changing her diet, but nothing seemed to work. Then one night, out of sheer frustration, she did something different. Instead of lying there, tossing and turning, she got up. She walked into her living room, turned on a soft lamp, and picked up an old book of poetry she used to love but hadn't read in years. She curled up in her favorite chair, pulled a blanket over her legs, and just read, slowly, without rushing, without worrying about the time. At first, she was still wide awake, but after about 10 minutes, something surprising happened. She felt a wave of calm wash over her. Her mind, which had been racing just minutes before, started to settle. She put the book down, walked back to her bed, and, without even trying, fell into the deepest sleep she had had in months. The next night, when she woke up again at 3 in the morning, she did the same thing. And again, it worked. Margaret had discovered something that science has proven to be true. When you stop fighting wakefulness, your body naturally finds its way back to sleep. Instead of lying in bed, forcing sleep to happen, she had trained herself to step away from the frustration, do something soothing, and let her body relax on its own. Over time, her wake-ups became less stressful. Some nights, she didn't even need to get up. Just knowing she had a plan made all the difference. Now at 71, Margaret still wakes up sometimes in the middle of the night, but she doesn't panic anymore. She trusts that her body knows what to do. So if you ever find yourself wide awake at 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling and feeling frustrated, think of Margaret. Don't fight it. Step away from the stress. Do something calming for 10 minutes and let sleep return to you when it's ready. Because sometimes the best way to fall asleep is to stop trying.
Transforming your nighttime wake-ups. Waking up in the middle of the night can feel frustrating, exhausting, and even lonely. But what if it didn't have to be? What if those wake-ups weren't just disruptions, but signals, your body's way of telling you something important? We've talked about 5 powerful techniques that can help you turn these restless nights into opportunities for deep rest and even self-discovery. Stop forcing sleep. The harder you try, the more your body resists. Instead, shift your posture, breathe deeply, and focus on setting the right conditions for sleep to return naturally. Hydrate wisely. A sip of warm water with a pinch of salt or lemon can replenish lost minerals and prevent the hidden dehydration that often disrupts sleep. Check in with your emotions. Your body might be waking you up because of unresolved stress or sadness. A simple journaling exercise or mindful breathing can help you release what's weighing on your mind. Reset your body with gentle movement. Instead of tossing and turning, stretch. Roll your shoulders or warm your hands and feet to signal relaxation. Calm your brain with sound. Whether it's pink noise, a soothing meditation, or a monotone audiobook, The right sound can gently guide your mind away from stress and into rest. These aren't just sleep tricks. They're small, intentional rituals that help you build a healthier, more peaceful relationship with rest. The truth is, waking up at night is normal. What makes the difference is how you respond. If you panic and fight it, you create stress. But if you accept it, take control of your environment, and use these tools, you take back your power. So the next time you wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning, don't let frustration take over. Try one of these techniques. See what works for you. And most importantly, remind yourself, this is just a moment and it will pass. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these techniques are you going to try first? Will you keep a journal by your bed? Try stretching. Experiment with pink noise. Drop a comment below and let me know. And if this video helped you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because better sleep means better days, and you deserve both. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Sweet dreams.